Welcome everybody to tonight's presentation. Tonight's workshop is all about going back to school. It's an exciting time for our kids these days. It's a new school year, new challenges ahead, but also new stresses that come with it. And so tonight I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about what's going on with the school year, how it can bring stress to your life, but also how you can combat that. So tonight is all about back to school and how to ace the school year. Okay? So I'm going to ask you a simple question to begin with. All right, the school year's here, new year, new challenges, and can you name any of these? So there's a lot of them that are out there, okay? We think of different things that are coming out there with homework and extracurricular activities and different friendship groups and teachers and parent-teacher conferences and sports trainings and sports events and school assemblies and charity events and drives and all that sort of stuff too. So the year is ahead of us for our kids, but it's also a year ahead of us for a lot of things that are going to be going on when it comes to our schools themselves. So I've listed them here. You've got science projects, you've got homework, you've got quizzes, you've got dance, you've got sport, you've got all these extracurricular activities that are going on. So what we're talking about is what can become of that. So tonight we're talking about the stresses, like I said. I mentioned before, introduction of new teachers, subjects and materials. So that's starting in from your first graders all the way up to 12th grade, getting ready for college. So there's new things that are going on in regards to it. So there's all types of stresses that come with a new teacher, new subjects, new material. New friendships and extracurricular activities. Friendships are hard when you're a kid. I think we all agree to that, right? So a lot of the time when new friends are coming on board, people are moving from town, in town, out of town, all that sort of stuff. New friendship groups are hard to come by. Extracurricular activities, sports beginnings like I mentioned. We're talking about gaining independence, all right? Who here's got a kid that's going to be driving pretty soon? Yeah, see? All right, watch out on the roads. But gaining independence is going to be big for that. Re-establishing attention spans, that's a huge one, all right? We've gone from summertime where it's just carefree living, school's out for summer, all right? But we're looking to re-establish our attention spans when it comes to school, classwork, homework, paying attention to parents and teachers. It's trying to redirect that focus from what we had. Abstract thinking and reasoning, all right? That's something that in society is not very common these days, but it's about thinking outside of the box, and that's what school's really shaping you for. And lastly, it's all about feelings, emotions, and the actions are changing, okay? All right, who here remembers their time in school? There was mixed emotions, there was a huge amount of feelings that went into things. It went from not being invited to little Susie's birthday party, to not making the basketball team, to failing a test, all right? There's ups and downs, there's peaks and troughs, there's ebbs and flows that go with going back to school. So those are just some of the stresses that go on. Now, I don't need to harp on to you about stress, all right, when it comes to the school year, because we've all lived through it. And a lot of you have got kids that are going through these day in, day out. Right? As a parent, I know in the future with my daughter, it's going to be being a teacher, being a therapist, a counselor, a best friend, an emotional support, a coach. You're going to be all those things as a parent. So stresses are nothing normal to our kids. But really, all these stresses cause a greater effect. And that's what I'm here to talk to you tonight about. Those stresses that I mentioned earlier cause a greater effect. They're not just the day-to-day interactions. They cause a bigger thing. And in chiropractic care, we call them the 3 T's. Now, some of you might have heard that before, the 3 T's. It's a pretty big premise within chiropractic care, but I'm going to break them down in regards to it. First T is traumas. Now, traumas are easy, okay? So all I want you to do is start with this thing. Stresses are caused by 3 T's. All right, everyone cool with that? So traumas is the first one. We're pretty common with traumas, it's easy to break it down. I've written them down here. Sports injuries, cumulative micro-traumas, riding a bike, sitting long periods, that's the continuous things that we're doing all the time. Scrapes, cuts, falls and bruises. Appearance of permanent teeth, poor posture during homework and electronic devices, lack of exercise and prolonged sitting, and sleep disturbances. Those are the traumas that our bodies will go through, or our kids will go through when it comes to the new school year. Think about that. Long periods of time. You're sitting down for what? Back in my day, it was 6 periods, about 50, 55 minutes a period. It's nearly 6 hours a day that you're sitting. That's a micro trauma. It can have an effect and build up stress. Stress on the muscles, stress on the nerves, stress on the mind, stress on the feelings, all right? Falling down, cuts, bruises, all that sort of stuff, that can cause stress on the body. Appearance of permanent teeth, all right? Think of the fact that you're 7 years old and you get a tooth fall out and the tooth fairy's coming to give you money. Guess what comes after that? Permanent teeth comes through. It's painful, it sucks. That's a micro trauma. It's gonna cause sleep disturbance, it's gonna cause an effect upon your body, won't react the best way the next day. It's a trauma, all right? It's a stress on the body. Next up, thoughts, all right? We can all go back to school and we all understand that kids are mean, right? Kids are mean. We're talking about things like bullying, stress of school and academic requirements, peer pressure in society, all right? Time spent on electronic devices, overscheduling, too many events going on, awareness of community and world events. We all hate to talk politics, all right? We all hate talking about it. Our kids are now getting involved with it. It's not the best thing for them. So it's causing thought stresses and changing family dynamics and parental relationships. All these things have an effect. They all are a stress caused by these thoughts cause a stress upon the body, on the mind, on the physical nature, on the emotional nature, on the mental nature. It's all going to have a drastic effect upon your body. That's going to cause things to happen. So that's the second T in our 3 T's. Third one is toxins, all right? Number 1 is back to school sickness. All right, that's going to have a big effect, right? Okay, come back to school, you got bugs and coughs and colds, and all the ickies are coming back from who knows where people have been over the summer as the winters change, all that sort of stuff too. Weather changing, fall hay fever, winter colds, they're all going to come on board. Kids touch things, kids are going to be around each other, they're going to bring things home, you're going to bring things to school, it's going to happen, okay? Exposure to quick and comfort foods. I'm not going to lie, when I feel pretty dirt, the only thing I want to do is eat comfort food, right? That stick to your ribs, hearty goodness, but it's not the best thing for us, obviously. And lastly, lack of water due to a busy schedule. I talked about overscheduling in the last slide. We want to make sure that the toxin side of things will cause, or the stresses will come from those toxins just there. So that's from the sicknesses, the changing weather, the exposure to not so good foods all the time, and lack of hydration. So those 3 T's are the assimilation or the synopsis of what stresses can come from, all right? Now, that's great and all. I've given you a big range of picture, but I want to show you something, okay? Every child age group has some stresses, and that's what we're going to break down. I'm going to break down what the stresses they face, what physical milestones may be interrupted because of them, and how chiropractic care can help with these symptoms or issues. I think it's important to describe that every age group, doesn't matter if you're a wee little baby all the way up to 18, 19 years old off to college, that each age group has some stressor that's going on, and these stresses have an effect upon our body, particularly when it comes to the physical milestones that we're always looking out for. So let's break it down right off the top. Infants, okay? Start off with, the birth process is a very traumatic event to start with, okay? C-sections and forceps used, weaning from breast milk, repeated falls and sleep regressions is just the start. I've got an 11-month-old at home, we've been through it all, okay? Apart from the C-section and forceps, all right? It is a traumatic event. As you go through an infant, you're discovering things, you're moving forward. Those things have an effect upon that little baby's lifestyle. That's a stressor, right? Okay? The physical milestones that they're going through, they're rolling, they're crawling, they're sitting, they're standing, they're walking, they're sleep training. They're going through 1,000,000 miles an hour, things that we're trying to teach them at that little bitty infant style. That's a stress on their system, and it's going to have an effect upon their physical milestone. Now, at the end of it, chiropractic is going to help, and that helps through the symptomatology. And I'm going to show you how in a minute, but I wanted to show you what chiropractic care can help with when it comes to combating those stresses. Things like colic and reflux. I had a baby come in just today who was battling with both of those. Okay, this poor little girl was only 5 months old, battling with that sort of stuff. We need to get her nervous system firing. Ear infections are a huge one that you see in infants. All right, tugging on the ears, kids are tugging on their ears in regards to it. That's a big one that's going on. Poor sleep, constipation, I should say torticollis, unfortunately, and asymmetrical gait, all right? So as I said, the birth process and development is very traumatic. There's a lot of changes happening with their body. When there's change happening, there's stress happening, mental, physical, emotional. The physical milestones then start to have an impact, all right? The crawling, the walking, the sitting, the standing, the sleeping. With that comes the symptomatology. So as you can see, it trickles down, doesn't it? The fact that there is stress can impact the milestone is then impacted, which is causing the symptom. want you to keep that in mind as we go forward. Toddlers is another one. Motor development and steep learning curves they go through. All right. Introduction to new foods, new motor patterns and control, movement, environment, stimulation. Okay, they're sitting there touching, feeling, squishiness, sand, hard things, soft things, all that sort of stuff. They're getting their mind developed. Their neurological system is starting to embrace society and whatever's around them. Their physical milestones themselves: walking, running, jumping, climbing, kicking, all those things that little toddlers do. Chiropractic care helps in regards to symptomatology: asthma, ear infections, poor sleep, allergies, night terrors, and mood swings. We've heard of the terrible twos, right? So that's the thing that comes on. Think about it. Stress in their life because of the introduction of motor skills and development neurologically. Their milestones then become impacted: walking, running, jumping, climbing, kicking. Thus, the symptomatology comes in when people say they've got problems. And again, that's where chiropractic care can help. Preschoolers, this is stress and newness, new foods, all right, new periods of stimulation, new environments, new teachers, new parents around, new kids around, all that sort of stuff. Harder periods are coming down. What I mean by that is the highs and highs of play school, or going to kindergarten, and then coming down off of that. All right, too many times you see kids who are just wild childs at the end of the night. It's hard to get them back down. Those are stresses on the body. Their physical milestones are very similar: walking, running, jumping, climbing, and balancing, as they're trying to get through and make those progressions in order to get through their life. Chiropractic care is going to help in regards to the symptomatology, the moodiness, the colds, periods of hyperactivity or sense of calming down, allergies, night terrors, and bedwetting. Again, running theme here, guys. Stresses of newness, the stress on their system, their physical milestones are then impacted, and then chiropractic care helping with the symptomatology because of that. School-age kids, physical and emotional stresses, sitting long periods, new sports, technology, stress of schoolwork, bullying, peer pressure. I mentioned before about peer pressure, bullying, all that sort of stuff. Kids are mean, all right? It sucks to say, but kids are always going to be mean. And it's pressure, it's stress on their system, stress on their nervous system, stress on their mindset, stress on their personality. All right? It's hard on their body. They're always going through these physical milestones of gaining independence, constant learning, sport-specific biomechanics. They're going through things that they're trying to hit just in the norm of their life without the need of the stresses. With the stresses involved upon these milestones, this is what happens. There's growing pains, there's headaches, there's lack of balance, coordination, ADD, difficulty sleeping, and concentration. So again, going back to the running theme, stress on the system impacts the physical milestones, symptomatology comes through. Teenagers, changes in biomechanics and emotional stresses. There's posture changes throughout the day. Your relationships, getting to understand the adult skills that are going to need to go forward. Habitual skills are ingrained, and bodily changes. We're talking about hormones, right? We're talking about puberty, we're talking about menstrual cycle, we're talking about all that sort of stuff. Massive changes. Independence, driving, high level sport, constant learning. Stress is on their system. Higher learning is a big one. They're going to be going to the next stage, all right? They're going to be moving forward as adults. Chiropractic care is in regards to the symptomatology, the headaches, the poor concentration, fatigue, slow recovery, muscle aches, and hormonal changes. Again, every single age group that we've touched on has got stresses in their life, milestones they're trying to achieve. It's symptomatology that comes in if these stresses have an impact upon those physical milestones. What I'm trying to get at, guys, is the fact that one stress can cause problems, all right? You're driving down the highway and someone is tapping on their brakes, all right? That's a stress, it's going to cause a problem. Your problem is the fact that you can't get to work on time. All right, take that example. Multiple stresses have long-term problems, okay? Multiple people tapping on their brakes going down the highway causes everyone to be late. Causes constant lateness, causes bigger crashes, causing more people to be behind, meaning that you can't get to your job, means that your boss is then angry, which means that your work is now put behind, which means that you're in a bad mood, which means that your work quality is not good, which means when you get home, your sleep quality is not good. One stress equals problems, multiple stresses equals long-term problems. So what causes these long-term problems? That's the key to it all, right? That's the secret sauce. It's this right here. It's your fight or flight, your sympathetic, and this is how we get into chiropractic care about everything. I've listed off how stresses in the kids' life is going to be going on in regards to everything. Now I'm going to show you in regards to what's causing those stresses to come into it. Okay, the fight or flight profile, or your sympathetic nervous system, is the body's natural state to acute stress or to survive within danger and threat. So that is your get up and go. It's your ability to get out of here when something is happening. That's the release of cortisol and adrenaline, all right? So those big powerful hormones in your body that tell you it's not right here, get out of here. With that being the case, cortisol and adrenaline in your system increase your heart rate, bronchial tubes dilate, pupils dilate, muscles contract, saliva production is reduced, and cortisol is released. Too much cortisol in your system will cause inflammation. Research has shown that, okay? So if I'm always in a stress state, a fight or flight state, a go, go, go state, whatever you want to call it, a gas pedal, brake pedal state, if I've got too much sympathetic tone in my body, cortisol is released. When cortisol is released, it stays in your system too long, it will cause muscle tissue to break down and inflammation to grow. So if you've seen any of our series in regards to our workshops or heard about them, that is one of the biggest things that we're looking at, is trying to reduce inflammation in our systems. The opposite of sympathetic is parasympathetic, rest or digest, okay? It is the balancing act between the two, all right? It is the brake pedal to the gas pedal. It is looking to try and show in regards to how your body calms itself back down and gets it back to what's called homeostasis. Homeostasis being the point of where your body is in balance. It does the opposite of what we just described, okay? It brings calmness and counterbalance to it to rest and repair. It allows your body to slow down. So, get what I'm saying? Sympathetic, gas pedal, parasympathetic, brake pedal. We need a good balance in between. Now, the reason for that is because it's going to allow our body to deal with stresses. Reason why is that the problem today? People are constantly stressed, always being in a fight or flight mode. Your body feels like it's under attack, and your system or your rest and digest system cannot kick in to calm you back down. It's like you're driving with a gas, it's like you're driving, with your handbrake on. When you're always in a state of fight or flight or defense mode, your body cannot get back to a state of health, healing, and adaptability. That is the crux of chiropractic here. Now, I'm telling you that in regards to when it comes to school stresses and how to beat it. Because all those stresses that are going on within your life, that are happening for the kids' lives, all those things that I broke down in regards to the stresses of each individual age group, to what their physical milestones are, to what is going to be symptomatology or symptomatically coming through because of that, is in relation to how the body cannot balance itself back out neurologically. Some questions to ask yourself. Is your spine, your nervous system, an important factor in optimal health? All right. What if your vagus nerve is not firing in different functions itself? What if we could track and show you how your system and functions aren't, what if we could track it to show you how you're changing your system and functions that aren't symptom-based? Now, with those questions being asked, the answer is yes, you may not be able to fight off the stresses as well as you should, and yes, we can track it. Okay, those stresses that your kids are going through, we can track what's going on and how chiropractic care can help. To take away the stress, take away those stresses that I listed in each individual category, for instance, allows the possibility for the body to get back into that state of homeostasis, that balance of fight or flight and rest and digest, so that it can compete against all the stresses that are going on. I give that reasoning because of the fact of what chiropractic care can do. If we're breaking it down from the crux of the issue, like we said before, you have stresses on the life of our kids, you have physical milestones that you have to meet, and symptoms that are sitting there because we're not meeting those because of our stresses. It's A plus B equals C, guys. It's the way it works. Stress plus our milestones equals symptomatology of what's going on. Now, the answer to the symptomatology side of things is chiropractic care. I'm going to show you an example just here, okay? Our inside station is how we track it. Our inside station is how we track your stresses. Now, people say all the time when they come into the office, oh, I deal with stress well. Oh, I'm not stressed at all. I'm pretty calm. That's great. Our substation allows us to see how your body reacts to stress, how it's manifesting in your physical, in regards to your physical appearance when it comes to the data through chiropractic care. 3 ways we do it: EMG, thermography, and HRV. EMG is electromyographical graph, all right? And it shows us the motor system the motor system of your nervous system. The energy it takes for your muscles to sit still. Stress on the body, like I described to you, the traumas, the toxins, the thoughts, have an effect upon the muscles. Because when you're in a stress state, cortisol is released, too much cortisol released in your system, obviously is elevated, causes inflammation and muscle breakdown. EMG will measure your muscles. Thermography measures the sensory system of your nervous system, the blood vessels. Stress in your system, body temperature will rise. It's going to hang around your system a bit longer because it has to regulate it a bit easier, in regards to it, because there's so much cortisol in regards to your system, or that fight or flight is so raised, that stress symptom is raised so much that your body's going to pump out more blood, okay? More blood in the system causes temperature to go up. Lastly, HRV shows us the overall effect that builds up stress in the body via the heart rate. So it's going to show us if you're in a sympathetic or parasympathetic state, a rest and digest or a fight or flight, stressed or heal, gas pedal, brake pedal, however you want to break it down. I'm going to show you that in regards to a patient of mine just here. Here is a scan that I'm going to show you just now of a 16-year-old girl who came with lower back pain, lack of range of motion, low energy and sleep disturbance. Now she's a very, very, very competitive dancer. Okay, we're talking 5 times a week she's out there practicing. She is out there, morning and night in regards to things. She's traveling half around the country in regards to competitions. So she's coming in with lower back pain to start with. I'm going to bring you down and show you what our scan looks like, okay? Up top is where she came in to begin with. And each scan is going to show us something, okay? Over here is that HRV. So is she in a sympathetic or parasympathetic state? Left hand side is sympathetic, that's gas pedal, all right? That's stress system. Right hand side is sympathetic. She's sitting here with a score of 70. Over here is our thermal scan, so that temperature, that thermography. She's sitting at 87, so you see a little bit upstairs and a little bit downstairs just here. Lower back pain, okay, well we can see that it's causing some interference just there. On the right hand side is our neurocore score, which is the EMG. This is showing us in regards to where her muscle tone is. As you can see here, 38 was her score. As you can see, is imbalance across the board. There's different lines, there's different colors, there's different lengths. That means that there's imbalance in the system. That means some muscles are too tight, some muscles are too weak. It's because there's imbalance in the system. 6 weeks on, we do a scan after she's been under chiropractic care. Remember, she's got lower back pain to begin with. Range of motion is lacking. She has low energy and sleep disturbances, all that will probably go through in regards to our stresses that I described to you with our teenagers, right? Symptomatology came in, lower back pain, sleep, and low energy. Her milestone functions aren't coming in too because of her lack of range of motion, because of the fact that she's learning biomechanics and sport-specific things in regards to it. So as you can see, she's coming in with symptoms. Her milestones have been impacted because of her stresses of her life that our scans have shown is happening. After 6 weeks of care, she's risen her score from 70 to 74. All right, so her HRV has gone up. She's moved from the left-hand side, she's moved more centered towards that balance between fight or flight and rest and digest. Her neurothermal scan has cleared completely up. All right, she's taken that score from an 87 to a 90. The red lines are disappearing, so that means her body is not pumping out as much blood. It's not in such a stressed state all the time, thinking it has to go. It's calmed down, so there's more balance, so 87 to 90. The neurocore score, which is our EMG, she was at 38, she's now down to, she's up to 74. So she's increased it by double in regards to her muscle tone being even. That's what it is. So the lines themselves are smaller and they're more even either side, having the same color, which shows balance in the system. All of this was over 6 weeks. All of this was over a teenage girl who's got lower back pain, when she just put it down to just sport, all right? She put it down just to a dance, but it impacted her system through more symptomatology, such as sleep and low energy being interrupted, and it was causing her actual milestones to be delayed, which is her lack of range of motion. So her symptoms went down, her scans went up, and her body was able to do what it needed to do because of chiropractic care. I say all this, guys, because at the end of the day, she gave her objective finding. Okay, she gave her opinion. She said that her improved sleep, she had increased range of motion, pain relief, She had improved quality of life and overall wellness was achieved. This is her words, not mine. Okay? Looking at what she said on her initial paperwork as she came out, she said the fact that much improves her lower back pain and her energy, her range of motion had resolved, and her sleep she got some improvement from. That's just 6 weeks of care. 6 weeks of care for a 16-year-old girl who's a highly competitive dancer who came in just with this lower back pain. But her milestones weren't being hit, and her symptoms were increasing, and chiropractic care helped get it out. The reason I say it is because it's all about activating the power of the nervous system. And that's what chiropractic care does. It activates the power of the nervous system by allowing your body to do what it needs to do whenever it needs to do. Always remember that you can go a month without food, you can go days without water, you can go minutes without air, but you can't go 1 second without your nerve supply. Chiropractic care is all about getting your nervous system talking properly. Neurological based chiropractic is the way to go when it comes to getting your body to the right stage to do the right thing all the time. And here in this new school year that we're going through, guys, it's all about trying to get your kids the best opportunity to perform their best, whether that's sport, whether that's school, whether that's dance, whether that's debate, whether that's chess, whether that's academic competitions. It can be anything. It's allowing your kids the best ability to fight the school year and get back to school and ace the school year by having their bodies communicating properly. Thank you very much for coming tonight. If you have any questions, I'm going to be sticking around for a little bit. Again, come in next month. Next month we're celebrating chiropractic's birthday. That's going to be happening on September 20th. We look forward to seeing you guys then. If you have any questions or if you'd like to come down and have a chat about possibly coming in for an initial scan, I'd love to do that. And I look forward to seeing you guys next month. Take care.